Hello everybody, today I want to talk with you about short versus long introductions in IELTS Task 2 writing. So how long should an introduction be? Well, let's take a look at this example about teenagers facing problems in their life. And we know that the essay needs to be 250 to 260 words. Now, there's different things people say online about this, but always go back to the requirements. The requirement is 250, so you don't need to go over 260. Don't go under 250. There's no need to go over 260. If you're a few words over, it's okay, but you don't have to aim for 270 or 280. It's not necessary. Okay, so based on those numbers, we have two paragraphs here, main bodies, an intro of 30 to 35 words and a conclusion of 25 to 30. This conclusion is shorter because there is no thesis. It's just summing up what you said. The introduction has a thesis, it has a topic sentence, you need a few more words, and there's room to play there. You could do a couple more words, but you don't want to do too many more. So why 30 to 35 words? Well, the intro, first of all, what does it do? What is the purpose of the introduction? At its basic, it tells you the topic, and it responds to the question and tells you the thesis, so that you know what is going on. So you know what's happening in the essay. You don't need more than 30 to 35 words to do this. Usually if you have more words than this, you're writing too many words in the introduction, in the topic sentences. I see a lot of students with too long sentences with a lot of mistakes in them. You know the mark's going to be bad. So a short introduction leaves words for the paragraphs. So if this is too long, that means this is shorter, right? If this is shorter, there's a problem you have, and that is that you need to extend your main ideas. That means in this paragraph you have one idea and you need to explain it more and more and more details. So if it's a shorter paragraph, the word count is lower, you then don't explain it as well and get a lower mark. And for what? Because you wanted to say more words here? Doesn't make any sense. There's no requirement for a long introduction. There is a requirement for a thesis and because of your task response. Okay, so that's part of task achievement here as well. You need to extend. If your paragraph's too short, you don't have any space to do it well. Okay, so I teach how to extend your main idea, these things, in the full course. So there's actually a free course. In the free course, it's in the description, and I'll give you a link below. And that covers introductions. You do that course, you'll have perfect introductions every time. The full course, you can have a perfect essay every time. So I'll teach you in that course. So let's compare one that is too long and one that is the right length. So here's a student that is too long. 52 words, again, unnecessary information. What is the unnecessary information? Again, this is about teenagers. The problems are caused because the parents aren't at home. So this just says teenagers are struggling more than their predecessors. Okay, fine. Admittedly, parents are prime accused. Well, what do you mean you're admitting that they're the prime accused? That's not the question. The question is for you to say what your point of view is and then explain why they may be guilty. So saying admittedly, it's completely wrong. It's a completely wrong use of the word. So what it's trying to do, this bit, is trying to explain the thesis, but it's not the place to do it. So, because there's no extension, there's no explanation, there's no main point, there's no main idea, this belongs in a paragraph with all of those things. So when it comes about deducting the failure of children, I mean, the language is nonsense. All you need to do is simply say this. Children are struggling, young people are struggling more in their life than predecessors. Fine, it's okay. Introduce the topic, right? Adequate time with often you need a thesis here. Okay, so you see how it goes off track really quickly. So what I do in the course is I tell you exactly as I'm doing now what to write in the topic sentence, what to write in the thesis to get a good band score. You're writing to the band score. And then I show you what to put in the paragraphs, how to reflect that information from the introduction. Okay, and it looks like this. Many children have an inordinate, it's too much, amount of unsupervised time because both parents are working long hours. Simple and clear. Inordinate's a great word. That's giving you a sufficient range of vocabulary, which is what it says for your vocabulary mark. And it's because. We use because means it's a complex sentence. So that is, again, a 7, heading towards a 7 for grammar. Now, the thesis, this essay will argue that the consequence is poor behavior because teenagers have inadequate direction and unsatisfactory discipline from parents. So, inadequate, vocabulary, great word. Unsatisfactory, discipline, consequence, all these words, great words for your vocabulary. We use because again, maybe shouldn't really use because twice, but it's not the end of the world. We've used a complex sentence. And this says what the essay is going to do, and it answers the question, which is the number one mistake students make. If you don't answer the question, you don't get your mark because you didn't read it, you didn't follow the directions, and the examiner goes, okay, another one. Remember, the examiner is looking at essay after essay after essay, and as soon as the examiner sees, oh, you didn't answer the question, the examiner is not going to be happy with your essay. You know, the number one requirement is answer the question. It's in the band descriptors, okay? And I discussed the band descriptors